Well, as far as the elevators go, I had known the spiritual guru of the outfit, Tommy Hall. I had known him from school, and he and I were friends, and he told me that he was going to put together a rock and roll band to proselytize for people improving their minds through the use of psychedelic drugs. And this would have been after the Waller Creek Boys, after I'd gotten I'd cut my teeth on country and western and folk music. And the elevators were a step beyond that. They were going to be an electric band, you see. And I had been experimenting with psychedelic drugs myself and already writing songs, and the songs were beginning to reflect the experiences that I'd had. And so I showed them to Tommy, and he says, "We need more material. I'm writing all of it now. We'll use your tunes too." So that's how I got into the 13th Floor Elevators and how they recorded my songs.
Why do you think just such an isolated place? It's not the West Coast, it's not San Francisco, it's not, Greenwich Village. Why did it happen down here?
I think it was just a very fortunate confluence of a number of very creative people that just happened to coalesce here. It's sort of like, like Lubbock. How come so many great musicians come out of Lubbock? They just do, and it just happened in Austin that way because the time was right and the people were there. I don't know if it would happen today. Maybe it is happening today, and I'm just an old fogey and don't know about it. But it happened then, and I think it was a very special thing to have happened too. It really was. I'm just a lucky guy to have been able to be around at the right point and the right time.
Well, would you like to talk for a minute about your relationship with Janis and getting to write her first hit, Bye Bye Baby, a great, fantastic song?
Well, as you say, I worked with Janis and in the Waller Creek Boys, and she was a close personal friend. Really sweet girl. I loved her dearly. And so when she decided to go back to California the last time, I had just broken up with a girlfriend who took off to go to the University of Wisconsin, and I'd written this song about it. And I was singing it, and Janis heard it, and she said, "Hey, I like that song, man. Write it up for me." And so I did, and she took off for the West Coast. And 6 months later, it was out on record. Yep. Yes, indeed. And it was just serendipity, just happenstance that happened. And one of these days, maybe I'll get lucky and place another song like that. But boy, this one has been very good to me, and I'm forever beholding to Janis for that. I always say that I owe everything I have to women. One woman or another has pulled me through every time.
I don't want to keep you too long, but now can you talk for a second about now you settled in Berkeley, but are you a native Texan?
Oh yeah. I was born in Houston and raised in Laredo, and I come from East Texas, a pair of East Texas families that were Civil War refugees. So our credentials as Texans are pretty solid. Yeah.
So, and you were saying now in Berkeley and San Francisco, there's not much, compared to Austin, there's not as much of a music scene?
No, we all rushed to the West Coast for the psychedelic years, but when that all was over, just nothing seemed to stick very much. The clubs closed down, things just went away. And there's still music in San Francisco and good bands, but I'm sure there are good bands in Cincinnati too. It's just not like it was then. And yet in Austin, it seems to have stuck. The kind of stuff that was beginning when we were doing it back in the 60s caught on. I left town in 1966 because I was I was worried about my association with the elevators, frankly, and I didn't want to be arrested as I was sure they were going to be. And I left. Then in 2005, I get a call from these people saying, come back, we're going to give you a plaque for having been associated with the elevators. And I always thought I was going to get a ball and chain, you know. So Austin has really changed in that respect. And having South by Southwest here makes perfect sense for that reason. I mean, they don't call it the live music capital of the world for nothing. I mean, it really is. And it's beautiful. For a guy who's a musician and likes to play, a place like this is just really terrific. Because we play for drinks and tips. We don't ever bug a club owner for money or anything, so they're happy to have us come play. You know? Especially if we can bring in some fans and sell some beer for them. It's great.
Well, I guess my last question would be, you ready to come home?
Well, as I just said a few minutes ago, I'd probably be back here in Austin now, except my wife there is from Colorado, and she just can't take the heat. She loves to come down here in March for South by Southwest because the weather's salutary, and she loves to boogie. So, that's where you come to do that in March, as far as I know.
It's that heat, man, in August.
Well, that's right. She was here in September last year, and she realized that I don't think I could be there, except maybe a couple of months out of the year. But she's strongly motivated to move here. Well, let's see if we can rent a place next year and all this stuff, because we got so many friends here. That even when there's not South by Southwest going on, we're still coming here and we're busy all the time, running around to see everyone and go to the shows that are here when South by Southwest is not, because there's a huge quantity of excellent musicians and music here all the time.
I guess I'm going to wrap it up with one more question. Do you have anything to say to the musicians, the young musicians now?
Well, the young musicians are on a different wavelength for me, and I know that. I also know that there are at least some of them out there that are creating the music that people will look back on in 30 years and think, wow, you did that. And I would just want to say more power to them. Keep on playing.
Powell, thank you so much.